Onto record. So Christian Apologetics Network once again. Uh, I hope I meet all of you really good. So in today's video, I will be talking about some historical errors in the Quran. And most of you will like reason that why is it that okay, your Christian Apologetics Network is always speaking, is merely speaking about the Quran or just speaking against the Islamic view. Well, the most dominant religion presently in the world is Christianity. Then after Christianity is Islam. So Islam can be it's like the opposite of Christianity. Let me just put it out because they they claim a lot of things about their book, their God, and their prophets, and which when we look very well at the fact of this thing in in their in their books like the Quran, the Hadith, the Sirat, we will begin to see that all their claims about their book, their prophets, and their God are all false. So this is just to enlighten you all to know that most of what they claim are not true. Now, I'm talking about some historical facts, some historical errors in the Quran. Why Quran? Because Muslims believe that every word that is spoken in the Quran is being spoken by Allah Himself. So Allah is the one speaking, and then they believe that the Quran is a part of Allah, coming from Allah. So it is flawless. So and which let us agree with them, and which anything that is from God, there should not be any single error in it. Are you with me? So the way they reference the Quran is so great. So and when you begin to find historical errors in the Quran, and they claim that this is from God, and this is a part of Allah, that this Quran is uncreated. Are you with me? And every word is from Allah, so it's from God. If you're able to find one single error in it historically, then you should know that this cannot be from God because God cannot make an historical error. Now, the first historical error we'll be looking at will be in Surah Tutaha, that is Surah 20, ayah 83 to 88. So I would want you to read with me. It says, and what made you rush ahead of your people, O Moses? He said, they are following in my footsteps, and I hurry to you, my Lord, that you may be pleased. He said, we have tested your people in your absence, and the Samaritans mislead them. So Moses returned to his people, angry and disappointed. He said, oh, my people, did your Lord not promise you a good promise? Was the time too long for you, or did you want wrath from your Lord to descend upon you? So you broke your promise to me. They said, we did not break our promise to you by our choice, but we were made to carry loads of the people on our mate, and we cast them in what and we cast them in that was what the Samaritan suggested. Now, in this case, this was after Moses went up to the mount to get the the commandments, and then before Moses got back, the people had already made a golden calf, a golden image. So now the excuse that the people of the Israelites, the excuse that they made was that they said that that it was the Samaritan, as you can see, said in verse 85, said, and he said, we have tested your people in your absence, and had the Samaritan misled them. As Samari. When we look at myislam.org.com, let us look at you. So this is the Samari. So it is the Samaritan. So if you should go to Google Translation and then you put it in Google Translation, you see just that it signifies the Samaritans. But what problem? The problem about this is the fact that this story was the story of around 1400 BC, and around 1400 BC there was never any city called Samaritan or Samaria. So the Samaritan is a name. So Samaria was not created until until the city of until the northern kingdom of Israel was destroyed. So Samaria was not created. It's just as if, like let me put it this, the name Al Bukhari. Al Bukhari is not a name of a person, rather. It's not a name of, it's not a name of a person per se. It's a name given to a person that comes from Bukhara. You understand? So but when they say Al Samari, that is the people of Samaritans. You understand? So it is impossible that how can a 1400 BC history, in 1400 BC there was not a city called Samaria then. Then how can the Samaritan mislead the children of Israel? So where did the Samaritan comes in place in here? Let us look at Google, Prophet Google. May the peace of God be with him. Let's look at Prophet Google, and then let us you would see by yourself. Let us type in when was Samaria established. So you will see that the Quran is just talking trash. It is historically it is wrong, and you cannot expect me or any logical person to believe that this book actually is from God with all with this historical error. Okay. Now let us search from Prophet Google. May the peace of God be with him. So let us search it. When was Samaria established? So you could see that the Quran dating, bringing a 1400 BC story and linking up with around 930 BC story. That's about over 700 years difference. Samaria was not established after 700. It was after 700 that after 700 years that Samaria was established. So it's just as if you saying how can how can the city of how can the how can how can Australia come? How can how can the Australians come before Australian? That is, we are already saying that the Australians, that is, the Australians people has already existed even before the country Australia existed. So it is logically very, very wrong. You cannot have this Al Samari, the people of Samaritan, now when the city of Samaritan has not yet been established. So, and it was around 700 years later that the city of Samaria was established. Now look at it from Google. This is founded 1930 BC. And the story of Moses and the children of Israel coming out of Egypt was dated for around 1400 BC. That is almost, that's over 500 years apart. That's over 500 years apart. So this is one of an historical error in the Quran that you would want to say, no, this cannot be from God. That's number one. So let us go to our next surah. This one talks about the mother of Jesus Christ, Mary. Now, there's a genealogy of Mary in the Quran. So actually, the Quran calls Mary the daughter of Imran. So, and the real, he also called him the sister of Aaron. The real problem with this is the fact that Mary was not the, I mean, Imran was not the father of Mary, and Moses was not the brother of 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 Mary as well. But Imran was the father of Aaron, and but what the Quran did was that it confused two Marys together. You know, in the Old Testament we have Mariam, the sister of of Aaron and Moses, and then we have Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ. So, and in the Arabic they call it Mariam together. Do you understand? So probably Mohammed got it all wrong. So then he gave the name of, he thought that they were the same persons. So he said Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ, is the daughter of Imran and the sister of Aaron. Now let us look at it. Let's wait. Let's wait for it. So it is a clear contradiction, and I'm going to give you, and I'm going to show you some excuses that the the apologetics of Islam that they made as concerning this, regarding this issue, that's and the solution out of it, because it cannot just be possible. It cannot just be possible. So let's wait for Surah 66. So Surah 66, ayah 12. Surah 66, ayah 12. This is Surah 66, ayah 12. Now look at, this is the Sahih International Version. He said, and this is Allah speaking now. That I told you, every word is on the Quran is from Allah. Allah was the one that said, that spoke everything. So it's the direct word of Allah, a part of Allah. He said, and the example of Mary, the the daughter of what? Of Imran. So Allah was saying that Mary is the daughter of Imran. Not just that, in Surah to Miriam, from verse 27 to 28, that is Surah 19, from verse 27 to 28, Allah called Mary the sister of Aaron. So it was not just that Allah called him, Allah called her the sister of Aaron, but rather he also called her the daughter of Imran, linking, saying that Aaron's father is the same father of the mother of Jesus Christ. And this is very, very wrong. And the Christians from Najran, they knew this. And that's why when you look at Sahih Muslim, ayah 2135, you see what the Najran Christians said. You see what he said. Now, look at Mugira B. Shuba reported. This is Sahih Muslim. This is Sahih Hadith. So you know Sahih Muslim is an authentic Hadith. After Bukhari Hadith, then we have Sahih Muslim. He said, when I came to Najran, they, that is the Christians of Najran, asked me, you read, O sister of Harun, that is Adrat Miriam, that is, they read sister of Aaron in the Quran. Whereas, listen, whereas Moses was born much before Jesus. Even the Christians of Najran, they quickly understood this ayah in Surah to Miriam, that is Surah 19, ayah 27 to 28, that is verse 27 to 28. They quickly understood that this thing that the Quran is saying, that Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ, is the sister of Aaron, that it is wrong. They knew this, that it is wrong. Now, they now said, we read in your Quran that you said that Mary, the sister of Aaron. They said, but Moses was born much before Jesus, because Aaron was the elder brother of Moses. So then, but Moses was born before Jesus. So how come Aaron became the sister of Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ? When I came back, now, when Shuba came back to Allah's messenger, then he went back to Prophet Mohammed. I asked him about that. Then he asked Mohammed about it. He said, whereupon he said, then he confronted Mohammed with that question that the Christians of Najran, that they asked him that, look, Aaron and Moses were born in the same era, but Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ, was not born the same time. This was over 1,000 years difference. Over 1,000, close to over 1,000 years difference. How come can this be? So then Shuba then went to Muhammad and then asked him of that report that this is what they said. How come is it? Then look at what Muhammad said. The Prophet Muhammad, he said, the people of old age, that is the people of old age, the Jewish then, used to give names to their persons after the name of apostles and pious persons who had gone before them. Now, the problem with this is that this is the same excuse that you see Christian apologetics and some Christians who understand their Quran. This is the same thing, that this is the same excuse that they give. Now, what Muhammad did here was that he lied. How do we know he lied? Because he said that people of old, that they give names to their people according to pious apostles or good people there. But the question that we need to ask Muhammad now, or any Muslim, is that where in the Quran or in the Hadith has this same thing? Have we ever seen this thing happening, that we saw that somebody was from this gave the name of a pious person in holding age to a new person and say, okay, let's say for instance now, let's say I'll put it now. Let's say Peter. Yes, Peter. Let's assume, okay, no, let's use John the Baptist. Now, let's say John the Baptist, his mother is Elizabeth, his father is Zechariah. Now, because they are from the priestly office, where in the did we see anybody calling John the Baptist the son of Miriam, which is the brother of Aaron, because they both came from the same Levite lineage. We never see any of that in the Quran, not even any of that in the Jewish traditions. If the Jews that come to Muhammad here, if they knew that, okay, that this was our norm, this was the tradition that the Jews practiced, that, okay, that we give names to people, our people, our people, pious people, we give them to people that are not, that even many years apart, they will still call them that the daughter of so and so. If they had known this, they wouldn't have gone and asked Shuba about this, but rather they knew that this was not it. That they know that, you see, I mean, he did not just stop there. Look at what he said, that Mary was the was the sister of Aaron, not just Aaron. Then now say that this same Mary is his father is Imran, and Imran is the father of Aaron, not the father of Mary. So it is, any excuse that they give, it is not a genuine excuse, because we know that Mary was from a Levite offspring. Okay, from the mother side, Mary was from the Levite offspring. We know that quite all right. But have we ever seen anybody from Mary's, from probably, let's say, somebody from Judah's lineage? Have we ever seen somebody, somebody from another lineage? Then we say that, okay, because you are from this lineage, then they now call you the daughter of your descendants. In the Quran, we didn't see that. In the Hadith, we didn't see that. Not even in the Bible. So this thing that Muhammad said is wrong. It was not so. But what the Prophet did was that he saw that they've caught him red-handed, that he's lying. Then he had to cover up with lies, which means that the claim of him receiving revelations is all wrong. He's not receiving any revelation, because when you should study the way the Prophet said he received revelation, you will know that this is not a revelation from God. Because when you look at the way the God of the Jews, how we reveal revelation to the prophets of the Jews, he did not use that same way. Because how can God give you a revelation and then that revelation will cause you to want to commit suicide? That to the extent that Muhammad wants to commit suicide, it's all there in their books. So it is all wrong. You cannot say that this is a clear historical error from the Quran. So let's just look at one more before we round it up for today. Yes, Another historical error which I want us to consider is Haman. It's in Surah 28. Surah 28. It's in Surah 28, ayah 38. So let's go to Surah 28, ayah 38. Actually, what really actually happened with this surah is the fact that Muhammad, or the Quran, it went ahead and took the name of Haman, who is in the book of Esther, and then placed it in the time of Pharaoh. And these two people, they lived in different era. And as a matter of fact, when you, according to Greek historians, there was never an Egyptian minister whose name was Haman. No. And when you look at the etymology of that name, Haman, the etymology of the name Haman is not Egyptian, but it is Mesopotamia and it is Persian, which actually agree with the record of the book of Esther that Haman was a minister in Persia kingdom. So when the Quran picked the name of Haman from the book of Esther, then put it in the story of Pharaoh, saying that they should build bricks so that he can quickly get to the God of 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 Moses. Are you with me? So it was all a misconception that this was not a revelation from God, because if it was a revelation from God, God would have known that the name Aman is not an Egyptian name. That's number one. Number two, throughout the historians, when they began to make their findings, they saw that there was no single official that ever became a minister in Egypt that goes by the name Haman. It was all a fallacy. That is, he just picked up one name from the book of Esther, then placed it in the book of this thing. So this story, actually, the dates between these two stories is quite different. And look at, and Pharaoh said, O chief, I know not that ye have a God other than me. So kindle for me a fire, O Aman. And so the etymology of this name is Persian or Mesopotamia, not Egyptian. So how can it, just as if an English name, let's say for instance, Charles. Charles is an English name. How can Charles become the minister of, let's say, of India? Then you say Charles has been the minister of India for since about 486 BC. Come on. That is like pushing it too far, because we know that Indians don't bear Charles. They can bear Singh, they can bear Raj, but not Charles. So the same way, Egyptians don't bear Aman. And according to Greek historians, there was never an Egyptian minister whose name was Aman. The etymology of the name is Persian and Mesopotamia. And as a matter of fact, even the writer of this Quran, another thing is that he said they should bake the mud and set up a lofty tower. That is, they should make bricks. One thing is that in engineering, you see, bricks, you cannot use bricks to build high towers. It is impossible in engineering. So this one that the Quran is saying that they should build brick, that is, use brick to build a tower. It is impossible, because you can't use brick to build a tower. If you use brick to build a tower, it's going to crumble. This is just a basic knowledge of engineering. Every engineering student understands this, that you cannot build bricks, small, just bricks, with to become. You cannot use brick to build. You cannot use brick to build a tower, high tower. It's going to crumble. Okay, so what you use must be something that is so hefty, must be so must be so hefty, must be so heavy, so that it does not crumble. Okay, so you could see that clearly. The writer of the Quran is just daydreaming. Personally, to me, I believe that the Quran is not the book from God, because With these three evidence I've given to you, if it was a book from God, you shouldn't find any historical errors in the Quran. God cannot make historical errors, but clearly these are just few of the historical errors which we can see in the Quran. Everything I'm saying here, I'm not just trying to say that okay, Muslim is bad, but I'm trying to say that let us look at it critically, logically. Don't just take your prophet or your imam or your sheikhs as their word. Don't just convert to Islam without any knowledge. I've seen folks convert to Islam and they are wrong run when they come face to face with a Christian apologetics and then they begin to explain the 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 pathogenesis of Islam and they begin to look at wow, bringing things right from the Quran to them and they begin to see that this thing is they have to move back. So you don't want to convert to Islam without knowing the some fact about Islam. That's number one. Number two, you don't want to accept everything that they tell you and then you just because you know in Islam what they do is that they tell you just believe, just accept it, don't ask any questions. Because the moment you begin to ask questions, the moment you begin to question this book or this religion, you begin to see a lot of things will be wide opened to you, like the one I've given to you. You can, I'm not asking you to just take my word at it. Go back yourself, make a diligent research, make a research by yourself, ask questions. They might want to be an answer, they want to raise an answer to them, but there are some logical questions that you can ask that you know that this thing cannot just be. Okay, like the case of Miriam, the daughter of Imran, the sister of Aaron. If you should ask your imam or any scholars or any Muslims, they will tell you that actually what the Quran did was that the Quran actually used that because Mary was from the Levite lineage. So what actually happened? So they called Mary according to the lineage of the Levites. So and the pious people in the lineage of Levites, one of them is Aaron, and Aaron is the son of Imran. So that's what they came about that. So while I'm not saying that that is not true, that Mary did not come from the lineage of Levites, but what I'm saying is that how they do? Because that's what that was the excuse that Mohamed gave. That is not the way the Jews does. Because when you call somebody the sister of Aaron, the daughter of Imran, you are pushing it too far. This is you cannot just see that this kind of thing only in the Quran, just in Torah to Miriam, that only Miriam, this thing was only applicable to only Miriam. We should see this kind of thing applicable to other figures in the Quran, not just Mary. If it only applies to Mary alone, then you show that this thing is wrong. Another thing you want to look at for go to the Jewish tradition, go to the Jewish Bible, read it yourself. If you ever see anything of such, you will not find it. So that's when you know that what they are telling you, they are all gibberish, they are all lies. So I hope with you've clearly seen that there are historical errors from the Quran, and if anybody comes to you and say accept Allah or accept Muhammad, I believe you now know better that if your Quran has some historical errors, definitely there's no way you can expect me to say and to believe that this your religion is from God if your book is wrong. So that being said, I hope you enjoy this content and I hope you find information in this video. All the aim of this video, of this ministry, is just to equip you with the right knowledge so that you will know your God deeper, and then so that you don't think that the grass is greener on the other side, so that you can be able to know that the Christian faith which you accept is the real way out of salvation. And I pray that the Lord will uphold you in your Christian faith. If you're a Muslim and then you are watching this and then you are hearing this for the first time, come on, I've come across a lot of Muslims who this is their first time of hearing this. I've spoken to a lot of them that they never even knew that this thing existed. That was because they didn't take time to study their Quran. But if this is your first time of hearing this thing and you feel that no, this cannot be, I would invite you to Christianity. Why not accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Father Savior? And if you know you're not convinced, I'm going to advise you, make your own diligent research and seek after logical explanation, not just a dogmatic explanation. Until I come away next time, stay sandwich in the grace of God and the God of grace. Bye-bye.